Hi everyone, it's Clara and I'm back with another review of a board game app. So during the current lockdown of 2020, I've been playing a lot of online versions of board games with my friends. It's been a really great way to stay in touch, and we've been using games, whether it's an app on Steam, whether it's Board Game Arena, whether it's Tabletopia. We've been using different sort of methods. And today I'm going to talk about a game that actually I've wanted to play for a really long time. In fact, it would have fit into my segment for the Dice Tower Board Game Breakfast of games that I want to play but I haven't. However, I now have because I played the app. I realise it's not quite the same as playing it for real, but at least I've actually played these, right? So I can talk a little bit about them. And today I'm actually talking about Stronghold Games' Terraforming Mars. So Terraforming Mars is it's right near the top of the Board Game Geeks list of great games. Everyone says how amazing it is. And I don't know, it's just sort of tickled my fancy, even though it's not fantasy. I've wanted to play it for a long time. Now, one thing that I will say is that, so I bought this on Steam. So I'm playing the Steam version. I don't know what other versions are out there. And I know that there aren't the expansions yet, whereas other games, I'm told that in the board game there's these expansions that really add a lot to the game. I don't have them because they're not out yet, and honestly I wish they'd hurry up and bring them out because I really want them. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about Terraforming Mars. So let's do that, shall we? Hey. Alrighty, so yeah, the app. To be honest, I've had no trouble running the app, but it's on Steam. But to be honest, I imagine it's fairly low resource and it's got a fairly decent computer now. So the first thing is that there's a tutorial, and another thing is that I can play it on my own. So unfortunately, whilst this is one of those games that I bought. This is one of those games that I've bought during lockdown, but my friends didn't buy it at the same time, so I've kind of had to play it alone. So that means that I'm either playing against AI, or there's a solo challenge, which I'll talk about. In fact, it'll be the solo challenge that I talk about. But yeah, I realise that I can play online with people, but I don't know. I don't really I've always been really bad at MMORPGs and stuff like that because I'm not very good at just chatting to people. When I'm playing on Board Game Arena and stuff, I play with my friends and that's it, people that I know. I don't know, maybe it's just my age, or maybe it's the fact that I'm trans and just, I worry about people's perceptions. So anyway, so there is a tutorial. So the tutorial is really great. It shows you how to play the game, which is spot on. And like I said, there's this solo challenge. Now the truth is, there's only one solo challenge on this, but I feel like it's a very different way of playing the game. In the solo challenge, what you're trying to do is terraform Mars, and you really don't care about points. And I feel like once when I'm actually playing against people and I'm trying to play for points, I forget that it's not all about terraforming the planet, it's about getting points. But actually I kind of like this challenge, so that's cool. So one thing is that when you start the game, you'll have a choice of 2 corporations to choose from. I'm not going to go into what it is, but they all have different different stuff that you get, different special abilities, stuff like that. I'm not really fussed which one this. I'm not going into an in-depth tutorial about how the game works. And you have so much money to spend, and then you can buy cards. So these are things that you're trying to do to build up your resources. So again, I'm not going to go through this, but I'm going to select a couple of them, and you pay money out of your choices to do that. And then this is the main game board. So I think this is beautiful. I love the way that the planets move, the way it's sort of got this look. People call the sort of board game version a little bit ugly. I think this is absolutely gorgeous in this regard. So because of the corporation I chose, I have to place a city, I think a dome city or something. So I'm just going to click on this space. So there, we've built our domed city. Awesome. And so with this game, you're trying to, like say on the solo challenge, you're trying to terraform the planet. In the standard game, you're trying to beat other players in terms of victory points, but it's really cool. So what you're doing with Terraforming Mars is you're trying to create water, you're trying to increase the temperature, and you're trying to increase oxygen. Yeah, it's not very often I think if any of us that are environmentally aware, it's not very often we're talking about trying to raise the temperature of the planet and increase the temperature. We want. So yeah, that's kind of interesting in itself. And I will say that every time you increase the oxygen, every time you increase the temperature and water, you do get points for that. And you also have resources, so you can use steel, you can use titanium, and then you have these sort of plants. Plants are what you can use to increase the oxygen levels and energy and heat. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And so, like I say, normally you're trying to play to get points. But by terraforming the planet, you do get points, but it might not be the only way you get points. With the solo challenge, you're actually trying to terraform the planet within a certain amount of generations, in 14 generations. And so what we're going to do is you're going to try and play cards, basically. So there'll be some cards that you can play and some cards that you can't. So I didn't pay any attention to what I was doing here. So I don't know what these cards are, but these are the cards I've got available to me. So you get to choose from 10. You can buy as many as you want, but the more you buy, the less money you've got to start with. So let's say we're going to build a subterranean reservoir. I can do this. There's no pre-requirement. So with grass, the grass card, it's grayed out, and that's because the temperature isn't warm enough for me to be able to play that. But if I did, it would give me plants, and it would give me plant production. So you're basically getting a little engine going. You're trying to produce energy each round, or temperature, and plants, and you use them to do other stuff. So let's say that I'm just going to build an ocean for now. Build an ocean, go figure. So this one, like I said, there's no pre-requirements, and it cost me 11 Mars dollars to build. And then you get to choose where. So you've got to choose one of the blue spots. That's where water can go. But I'm going to choose one of these that has 2 green things. So that's 2 plants, which means that if you look down below, you see that I've already got 2 plants. So if I go here, I'll have another 2 plants. I think that if you build cities near oceans, you get points and stuff like that. It's kind of, there's different ways of playing it. But so I built this ocean, which is really good. So you'll see that now I have 1 ocean out of 9 that I need to terraform the planet, and I got more plants for doing it. I think that I'd play this more often. Once you get so many plants, you can actually convert 8 plants into a greenery tile, so you can basically start creating forests and stuff like that. And once you've got 8 heat, you can start raising the temperature. So I should say that I said you can play 8 plants, and what that'll do is you play this greenery tile, and plants generate oxygen, so you increase the oxygen. And then you can use different resources to sort of maybe buy cards that you won't be able to otherwise. There's all different sort of stuff. So there's the imported hydrogen. You can carry on playing. You'll play one thing at a time. I'm not really playing this properly, as you can see. And ironically, I got another ocean. So I'm well on my way to having a watery planet, but you don't beat the solo challenge unless you've got all 3 of these are high. So here I can choose different stuff. I'm just going to choose. So I've got even more plants. So now you see that I've got 9 plants. This means that I can convert to a greenery. So I can build greenery on one of these plants. You can only build them in certain places. There are rules about where you can play them, but this isn't a tutorial. And I love the way the green grow, the water develops, the way the cities build, and now you can see that the oxygen's gone up a little bit. And once you reach certain points, like with the temperature, then you'll suddenly start increasing your heat generation. Once you reach so much oxygen, you'll increase your temperature a little bit. There's all different stuff that happens. And so yeah, you basically are building your colony, and like I say, in the solo challenge, you're trying to terraform the planet in 14 rounds. And I wish there were more options for the solo challenge. I wish that there were more things I could attempt to do, because I've beat the solo challenge a few times. I've lost it way more, but I've beat it a fair number of times. It'd be nice to be able to sort of have another challenge. And I got to remember that when I actually play against real people, I got to get victory points rather than just trying to terraform the planet for everyone. One other thing that I will say is that you sort of take it in turns to do your thing. So if you're playing against an AI or a real person, you know, you'll have a go, they'll have a go, and so on. And then there's a certain point where you'll say, right, I don't want to do anything more. I can't play any more cards, so you'll pass. And then once the other players have all passed as well, then that's the end of that generation. In the solo mode, you don't really have an opponent, so just automatically go to the end of the generation. I said we've got to do this in 14 players. And then there's certain things you'll produce money depending on what your terraforming rating is. This went up every time when I made water, and when I made oxygen, produced oxygen, this went up, so that'll give me more money. Then you get to choose another couple of cards. So let's say I want to get this one, so select that. And so yeah, let's select this one card. Yep, I'm sure I want to do it. And then you go into, and now it's generation 2. Beautiful app. Like I say, I love the way it looks. You'd think it is a little bit disconcerting having the space move in the background, but actually I kind of really enjoy it. I love the oceans grow, the way the oceans grow. I love the way the planets and the greenery grows, and it's just a really fun game. It works really well, and I've had a lot of fun. I did pick it up on Steam when it was on sale because, you know, eternally skin, but yeah, I'm really glad that I did. And so yeah, that's sort of it's a very brief overview. Like I say, this is not how to play at all, but I just really enjoy it. And it's a really interesting challenge. Like I say, this solo challenge is really interesting. It just, you know, you're trying to do something but in quite a different way. And I actually like the idea that you can have this sort of engine building as a solo challenge whilst not playing an AI, you know, so you're not trying to beat something that might be smarter than you or not smarter than you. You know, some AIs just play stupid moves just randomly, and then other AIs know exactly what the best move is each time and do them. With this game, with this challenge mode, you know, it's kind of nice that there's a challenge there. And then they playing against a real person, well, there you go. That's where the fun is, right? That's what most of us play board games for. But I am a solo board gamer as well. And yeah, like I say, the app's really easy to use. It's not too expensive, and I don't know. I'd love to pick this up for real. I'm not gonna, you know, this. I really rate this game. I think that the mechanics, the way it plays, are really good. And like I say, on the actual physical board game, there's a whole bunch of expansions which aren't out on the app, and I'd love to have those. But you know, I'm sure they'll come out at some point. So, or at least I hope so. Anyway. Yeah, so really fun app. Like I say, I was able to afford it. I can't afford the board game, the physical board game version, but I could afford the app. I like this solo challenge. I'm looking forward to the expansions, and I highly recommend this. So yeah, might enjoy it. All right, cool. And then until my next, if you're just watching my board game app reviews, until then, I'll have another one next week. And if you watch my other videos, there will be other videos this week. There might already have been. Depends what day I put things out, doesn't it? Really? But yeah, take care and see you soon. Bye bye.